The ice in my wine glass trembles, just barely, but I feel it the way everything shifts when Daniel's eyes find mine across our kitchen island. 3 weeks have passed since the barbecue. 3 weeks of careful conversations and cautious touches, of sleeping on opposite sides of our king-sized bed like strangers sharing a hotel room. We need to talk about Marcus. His voice cuts through the evening quiet, sharp as broken glass. I set down my wine. My hand doesn't shake. I won't let it. What about him? He called again today. Daniel moves closer, his footsteps deliberate on our hardwood floor. That's the 4th time this week, Lena. The way he says my name like he's testing how it tastes now. Whether it still belongs to him makes my chest tighten. I can smell his cologne. The same one I bought him for our anniversary 2 years ago. Cedar and smoke. It used to make me melt into him. Now it feels like a wall between us. He's your best friend, I whisper, meeting his gaze. He's trying to apologize. To you. Daniel stops just close enough that I have to tilt my head back to look at him. Not to me. To you. The kitchen light catches the faint bruise still coloring. His knuckles, purple-green now, fading but not forgotten. Neither of us mentions how Marcus's jaw looked that night, or the way the guests scattered like startled birds. When Daniel's fist connected with flesh and bone, it was innocent. The words feel hollow even as I speak them, because was it that moment when Marcus caught my hand as I passed him another beer, the way our fingers lingered, skin against skin, just long enough for Daniel to notice, the laugh that bubbled up from somewhere deep in my chest. When Marcus whispered something about my husband being lucky, Daniel's jaw tightens. Was it? The question hangs between us like smoke. I want to say yes. I want to close this wound that's been bleeding between us for 3 weeks, but something stops me. Maybe it's the memory of Marcus's eyes in that split second before Daniel's world exploded. Maybe it's the way my pulse still quickens when I remember the warmth of his breath against my ear. I don't know. I breathe, and the honesty cuts deeper than any lie could. Daniel's hand rises, hovering just inches from my cheek. For a heartbeat, I think he might touch me, really touch me, the way he used to. Instead, his fingers curl into a fist and drop to his side. That's what I was afraid of, he says, and walks away. I'm left standing in our kitchen, wine forgotten, wondering when everything I thought I knew about my marriage started crumbling beneath my feet. The coffee shop is neutral ground, at least. That's what I tell myself as I push through the glass door, scanning the scattered tables until I find him. Marcus sits in the corner booth, hands wrapped around a ceramic mug like it's the only thing keeping him grounded. He looks up when I approach. The bruise on his jaw has faded to a yellow smudge, barely visible in the afternoon light filtering through rain-streaked windows. But I can still see it. I'll probably always see it. Thank you for coming, he says, rising slightly as I slide into the seat across from him. Always the gentleman. It's one of the things that drew Daniel to him years ago, and one of the things that's been driving my husband slowly insane since that night. I shouldn't be here. I order a latte from the hovering waitress, buying time I don't have. Daniel doesn't know. Daniel doesn't know a lot of things. Marcus's voice is rougher than I remember, worn down by 3 weeks of guilt and whatever he's been drinking to forget. Like how his wife looks at other men. My breath catches. I don't. You do. He leans forward, close enough that I catch his scent. Different from Daniel's, sharper, with hints of leather and rain. You looked at me that night. Really looked at me. The truth sits between us like a third person at our small table. I should deny it. Should gather my purse and walk out. Go home to Daniel. Pretend this conversation never happened. Instead, I find myself studying Marcus's hands where they rest on the scratched wooden surface. Long fingers, a small scar across his left knuckle from a childhood accident he once told us about. These hands that my husband's fist found 3 weeks ago. It doesn't matter what I did, I whisper. You're his best friend. I was his best friend. Marcus's laugh is bitter, hollow. Past tense, Lena. That ended when he decided violence was the answer to his insecurity. He was protecting what's his. Were you? His to protect. The question hits like a physical blow. Marcus reaches across the table, his fingers barely brushing mine. But even that whisper of contact sends electricity racing up my arm. I should pull away. I don't. I keep thinking about that moment. He murmurs, his thumb tracing the ridge of my knuckle. When you laughed, when you looked at me like what? Like you were seeing me for the first time, not as Daniel's friend, as just me. The coffee shop fades around us, the chatter of other customers, the hiss of the espresso machine, the gentle patter of rain against glass. It all becomes background noise to the thundering of my heart. Marcus's touch is feather light, barely there, but it burns. This is dangerous. I breathe. I know. His eyes meet mine, dark and honest and full of something that looks dangerously close to longing. But I can't stop thinking about you, Lena, about us, about what might have happened if my phone buzzes against the table. Daniel's name flashes on the screen, and reality crashes back into focus. I jerk my hand away from Marcus's touch like I've been burned. I have to go, I whisper, standing so quickly my chair scrapes against the floor. Lena, wait, but I'm already walking away, my heart hammering against my ribs, knowing that everything just changed between us again. The rain starts just as I pull into our driveway. I sit in my car for a moment, watching water streak down the windshield, blurring the familiar shape of our home into something foreign. My hands still tingle where Marcus touched them. Daniel is waiting in the living room when I walk through the front door, shaking droplets from my hair. He's been drinking, I can tell by the way he holds himself, too carefully controlled, like he's afraid of what might happen if he lets go. Where were you? His voice is deceptively calm. Shopping. The lie slides off my tongue too easily. I've never been good at deception, but apparently desperation is an excellent teacher. For 3 hours, I freeze halfway through hanging up my coat. I lost track of time. Daniel stands, moving toward me with that predatory grace I used to find thrilling. Now it makes my pulse race for entirely different reasons. You smell like coffee, and he stops just close enough to breathe me in. Him. The accusation hangs between us like a blade. I could deny it, should deny it. Instead, I find myself looking into my husband's eyes, really looking and seeing a stranger there. When did Daniel become the suspicious, jealous version of himself? When did I become the kind of woman who meets her husband's best friend in secret? Yes, I whisper. I saw Marcus. Daniel's entire body goes rigid. You what? He asked me to meet him, to talk, to explain. Explain what? Daniel's voice rises, dangerous now. What exactly needed explaining, Lena? The question I've been avoiding for 3 weeks suddenly demands an answer. I take a shaking breath, tasting rain and regret and something that might be relief. That I wanted him to kiss me that night. The words fall between us like stones into still water, sending ripples through everything we thought we knew about ourselves, about each other, about the life we've built together. Daniel staggers backward as if I've actually struck him. What did you say? You heard me, and suddenly, impossibly, I feel lighter. The secret I've been carrying like a weight in my chest finally released. When he caught my hand, when he leaned close to whisper in my ear I wanted him to kiss me. Daniel, for just one moment, I wanted to know what it would feel like. Jesus Christ, Lena. Daniel runs both hands through his hair, pacing now like a caged animal. Do you have any idea what you just said? The truth. I sink onto our leather sofa, suddenly exhausted. I told you the truth, the truth. He whirls to face me, and I can see the moment his heart breaks reflected in his eyes. The truth is that my wife wanted to kiss my best friend at our dinner party, in our backyard, in front of our friends. The truth is that I'm human. My voice is steadier than I expected. The truth is that somewhere along the way, we stopped seeing each other, really seeing each other. The truth is that Marcus looked at me that night like I was beautiful, and I can't remember the last time you did. Daniel goes very still. I look at you every day. No, I shake my head, tears starting. Now despite my efforts to hold them back, you look through me, past me, at the version of me you married 5 years ago, not the woman sitting in front of you. And he does. Marcus sees the real you. The question is a trap, but I'm too tired to avoid it. I don't know, maybe, but for one moment, Daniel, for one perfect, terrible moment, I felt alive again. Daniel stares at me for a long, agonizing moment. Then he picks up his keys from the coffee table and heads for the door. Where are you going? He pauses, hand on the doorknob, to finish what I started 3 weeks ago. I find them at Marcus's apartment building. circling each other in the rain-soaked parking lot like wolves. Daniel must have driven here at breakneck speed. I'm breathless from chasing him across town, my heart hammering against my ribs. Daniel, stop! I slam my car door, running toward them both. They freeze at the sound of my voice. Marcus's hands are raised in surrender, but there's something in his stance that speaks of coiled strength, of a man pushed past his breaking point. Daniel's fists are clenched at his sides, rain streaming down his face like tears. Go home, Lena, Daniel says without looking at me. His voice is deadly quiet. No, I step between them, close enough to feel the heat radiating from both their bodies despite the cold October rain. This ends now. This ended 3 weeks ago, Marcus says roughly. When your husband decided I was the enemy, you are the enemy. Daniel explodes, lunging forward, but I press my palms against his chest, stopping him. The contact sends shock waves through both of us. When was the last time I touched him like this? Really touched him? Look at me, I demand, my hands fisted. In Daniel's soaked shirt. Look at me, not him. Daniel's eyes find mine, and I see everything there: the love, the betrayal, the desperate need to understand how we got here. Behind me, Marcus is breathing hard, and I can feel his presence like heat against my back. I love you, I whisper to Daniel, and the words are true even though everything else is complicated. I have loved you for 7 years, but I can't love a man who thinks violence solves problems. He was touching my wife. I let him. The admission costs me everything, but it's necessary. I let him touch me, Daniel. I wanted him to, and instead of asking me why, instead of fighting for us, you decided to destroy him. Daniel's face crumples. I was losing you. I could feel it happening, and I didn't know how to stop it. Behind me, Marcus makes a soft sound, pain or understanding. I can't tell which. The rain is coming harder now, plastering my hair to my skull, soaking through my jacket to chill my skin. But between these two men, I feel nothing but fire. You want to know what Marcus said to me today? I continue, never breaking eye contact with my husband. He said he thinks about me, that he can't stop thinking about me. Daniel flinches, but I press on. And you want to know what I told him, don't? Daniel's voice breaks on the word. I told him that thinking about me might destroy everything. His friendship with you, my marriage, his conscience. I take a shuddering breath, but I didn't tell him to stop. The silence that follows is deafening, broken only by the sound of rain against asphalt. Then Marcus speaks from behind me, his voice barely audible over the storm. Lena. I turn to face him, and the raw need in his expression nearly brings me to my knees. This is the moment, the choice that will define everything that comes after. I know, I whisper, and somehow he understands that I mean all of it. I know you want me. I know this is impossible. I know we're all about to cross a line we can never uncross. He steps closer, close enough that I'm caught between them both, between the man I married and the man I might have loved in another life. Marcus raises his hand, his fingertips just barely grazing my rain-soaked cheek. I'm sorry, he breathes, and I don't know if he's talking to me or to Daniel. Then his lips brush mine, soft as a prayer and twice as devastating. The kiss lasts exactly 3 heartbeats, long enough to taste rainwater and regret, long enough to understand what I've been reaching for in the dark corners of my marriage, long enough to know that some hungers can never be satisfied without destroying everything else. I pull away, gasping. Behind me, Daniel hasn't moved, hasn't spoken. The sound of his breathing is harsh in the rain-thick air. There, I whisper, looking between them both. Now you know. Know what? Marcus asks, his thumb still tracing the curve of my cheek. That I could love you. The words tear something open inside my chest. In another life, in another world where I wasn't married to your best friend, I could love you completely, the way you deserve to be loved. Marcus's hand drops to his side. Lena, but I'm not in another life. I turn to face Daniel, seeing my reflection in his storm-dark eyes. I'm in this one, with him, and I have to decide if I'm going to fight for what we have or let it die in this parking lot. Daniel is shaking now, from cold or shock or the effort of holding himself together. What are you saying? I'm saying that I see you, Daniel, for the first time in months, maybe years. I see you, the jealousy, the fear, the way you love me so fiercely it scares you. I step closer to my husband, leaving Marcus in the rain behind me. I see the man who built us a deck with his own hands, because I mentioned wanting somewhere to drink morning coffee. The man who cried when we lost the baby I didn't even know I wanted, until it was gone. Daniel's breath catches. We never talk about the miscarriage, never let ourselves grieve what we lost 2 years ago. I see the man who punched his best friend because he thought he was losing me. I reach up, framing Daniel's face with my hands the way I used to when we were young and everything felt possible, and I'm asking that man, my husband, if he wants to fight for us. I don't know how. He whispers, and the vulnerability in his voice breaks my heart clean in half. Neither do I. I lean my forehead against his, tasting rain and tears and the promise of something that might be forgiveness. But I want to try. Behind us, Marcus clears his throat. I should go. Yes, I say without turning around. You should, Lena. His voice is soft, final. Be happy. I close my eyes, memorizing this moment, the weight of possibility, the ache of the path not taken. When I open them again, Marcus is walking away, his silhouette disappearing into the rain and the gathering darkness. I'm sorry. Daniel whispers against my temple. So am I. What happens now? I think about that question as we stand there in the rain, holding each other like survivors of a shipwreck. What happens now is the hard part. The therapy sessions and difficult conversations, the slow work of rebuilding trust, the choosing each other every day, even when it would be easier to let go. Now we go home, I tell him, and for the first time in weeks, the word feels like it might actually mean something again. That Daniel takes my hand, and we walk back to our cars together. In the rearview mirror, I watch Marcus's apartment building fade into the distance, carrying with it the ghost of what might have been. Some stories don't end with passion, they end with choice, with the decision to love the person in front of you, instead of the one in your dreams. Tonight, for better or worse, I choose the man I married. Tonight, we drive home through the rain and begin the hard work of learning to see each other again.